And we're back. This is the fourth case,
The
and
letter is on the table, Holmes. You should take a look.
I shall take a look at the letter on the table, because I don't remember at all what the start of this was. I think I was fairly tired once that other case was over.
This.
But the letter is on the table. Is it on... There's a lot of tables here, Mr. Watson.
The letter is on the table, Holmes. You should take a look.
So I'm already having trouble finding the letter, so we're gonna have ourselves a merry good time. So, very nice handwriting and a seal. EB, is it?
A wax seal with the monogram EB.
Yes. Yes.
I can tell from Lestrade's handwriting that he was in a hurry when he wrote this letter.
Oh. Alright. Brackenstall.
The Brackenstall family coat of arms.
So, Abbey Grange, Marsham, Kent, 3:30 a.m. My dear Mr. Holmes, I should be very glad of your immediate assistance in what promises to be a most remarkable case. It is something quite in your line. Except for releasing the lady, I will see that everything is kept exactly as I have found it. But I beg you not to lose an instant, as it is difficult to leave Sir Eustace there. Yours faithfully, Inspector Lestrade. Releasing the lady. More names. Eustace. Seems like a memorable name, in a sense, I think.
So, what is it, Holmes?
Promising, as always. It appears to be a case of murder.
So you believe that Sir Eustace is dead?
I should say so. Lestrade wouldn't have sent for me for less. His writing shows considerable agitation, and he is not an emotional man. These people belong to high society. The quality of the writing paper, the EB monogram, their coat of arms. The crime was committed before midnight.
Holmes, how can you possibly tell?
Well, it is all thanks to Lestrade. He wrote his letter at 3:30 in the morning. Imagine the chain of events before that. The local police had to be called in. Scotland Yard was notified. Lestrade himself had to make haste there, and finally compose the letter he sent to me. All of that makes for a fair night's work.
It makes sense. Lestrade also speaks of the woman he released.
That seems to indicate that she had been held somewhere during the crime. Much time has been wasted. Let us find a cab and go to Abbey Grange immediately. I live in hope of an interesting morning.
Now I remember. Sherlock woke up, or Dawson? Damn it, Watson was woken up by Sherlock during the night. So I wonder what time it is now. But we are going to Abbey Grange.
Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson, here you are. I'm very glad that you have come, but perhaps I should not have troubled you after all.
And why is that?
Lady Brackenstall has come to her senses, and she has given so clear an account of the affair that there is not much left for us to do. You remember that Lewisham gang of burglars?
What, the three Randalls?
Exactly. The father and two sons. It's their work. They stole a silver service, which is of great value.
Sir Eustace Brackenstall is dead, then?
Yes. His head was knocked in with his own poker.
A violent act of aggression.
Yes, the poor lady. She has had a most dreadful experience. She was assaulted and tied to a chair. But I think that you would best see her and hear her account of the facts. She's in the morning room with her maid, Teresa Wright.
Where is the body of the deceased?
In the dining room. We haven't touched anything.
All right, I'm going to examine it.
Very good, Watson.
The game indeed is afoot. I'm going to need a pen to remember something, so just a moment. And here we are. The first thing to remember is to cut at around 6 minutes. Because I wanted to find my pen. So, I seriously, I really want to do well this time. Last time, oh right, I should probably, now that we're looking at this fine dining area, I'll just quickly go through what I had, just a little bit written down from the last one, like after it ended. So, like, everything in me was saying that the guy that I accused is not guilty, but, well, not everything, but let's say emotionally and superficially and everything, like, it just didn't seem right. But I don't, I'm trying not to think that way, because it doesn't work that way in a sense, because that way someone can manipulate you into thinking something, so you need evidence. So, because the thing that I think I got totally wrong was that I should have thought about it this way, that because the champagne was in there and no one knew where it came from, not even the bellboy dude, that means that he was lured out, or that it was a part of the plan for him not to be there. So however that came to be, I can only guess, but that was the problem with the whole thing, was that I couldn't follow up on the telegram, and I didn't really get a close look at it again, which was also just bothered me, but I don't think there was anything there. But now that we sort of know what really happened, or at least we know what didn't happen, one of the things that didn't happen, we have to assume that somebody went in there while they took the key, which was a part of the plan, and part of the plan was to get the bellboy dude to leave, which means that they had been sent telegrams before, like maybe it's luck that his mother was actually sick, and then just that morning or something they needed an urgent reply and used that to do whatever they wanted to, or do what they had to do, which was to transport the champagne into the room, and then take the key, and then use the key as to lock the door, but also it was either intentional or unintentional, but it glowed as gold in the showers when the guy was attacked with an ice knife, because the silver knife, it would have been too much of a coincidence to have the silver knife and then have someone dispose of the silver knife, and because the body was found pretty much immediately after death, I would imagine, because why would someone, because they saw a knife fly through the air and stuff, and they might be seeing things, but they saw something gold glimmering in the night, and then so that would have been, that should have been the starting point, and then we should have started, or I should have started making my sort of assumptions and deductions and things like that. But I was pretty sure that the note had to be, or the it had to be a chance that the guy left because we couldn't really follow it up or anything. But one other thing is that this game is a Sherlock Holmes game, so he doesn't have to follow up because he already knows. But since I'm not Sherlock, I would love to follow up on some clues. But anyway, that's enough of that. Let us figure this out. So just trying to think about, there's a few people around that sort of have business in the house. So it's the dead guy, the wife, and then I can't remember what they called her, but she's the sort of, I don't want to say nanny, what's the word? Housekeeper is a word. So they sort of had their, they had business being around here. And then there are 3 brothers who are miscreants. And the wife started to remember later. The wife started to remember later, which sort of could be intentional, could be unintentional. Sometimes people sort of, if people have holes in their sort of memories, they tend to start filling them up at some point. I guess we all do that to some extent. Weapon was the poker, fire poker. Belongs to the house apparently. At least that is the assumption. And then motive would be theft, which sort of, I don't know, stealing a single thing from a house like this. I mean, silver is easy because you can actually melt it and mold it. We learned that from the last case. We also learned how much I can suck.
Lady Brackenstall awaits you in the morning room.
Of course. And then theft seems sort of, because there's 3 guys. Not much reason to kill someone. To kill if the guy was unarmed and just, you know, old and whatever. If, you know, people kill just because they're upset with someone else or something, but I'll start from the assumption that everybody is, you know, at least relatively reasonable, and we'll figure it out.
Lord George Brackenstall. Sir Warthen Brackenstall.
Lady Brackenstall awaits you.
Yes.
Lord Brigham Brackenstall. Lord Ramsay Brackenstall.
I guess that's money. A letter, there's some cash around. Depending on how long they were actually here, I would imagine they would grab coins with them instead of a single silver vase. And I didn't briefly forget, but I started thinking about the last Thief game. Has the sort of same atmosphere in a sense.
Ladies, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting Inspector Lestrade in this investigation.
Mr. Holmes, I am the wife of Sir Eustace Brackenstall. We were married only a year ago.
I am sorry for your loss. Please accept my deepest condolences.
I suppose that it is no use my attempting to conceal that our marriage has not been a happy one. I fear that all would tell you that. even if I were to attempt to deny it.
Alright, at least she's giving us that, but it's not really. I'm still looking for proof rather than emotional arguments, because I feel like that's not the way to go. There's a certain humane way of thinking that I should think with, but then I feel like I need to choose either one, because otherwise I get lost. I'm too binary for detective work. But wife is not happy, and we'll figure out who knocked her in the eye like that and on her head. Let me just guess, make some wild assumptions here, but whoever it was, the wife could have ordered it, and then sort of framed it, and then she's blaming someone else for whatever happened. Maybe their deal sort of broke down or something like that. Maybe she got caught. And if the guy was, I guess, not a pleasant fellow, then things might happen. But she might have had dealings with these dudes. So these are all assumptions, but I do want to get them out and sort of just try to think of a lot of possible different reasons, motives. So the obvious one is her eye and her forehead too, and her youth. I'm not sure how old the guy it was, but she also doesn't seem to be, crying or anything. She's had a night to sort of get over it, but I don't know. And she's also high-born, so not much emotions there to be found. Stereotypically, it's the necklace. Can't see. Should never stare at a woman's chest. Is that a little bit of like, it's bruising on her hands too. Let me just get a good look, but it's the left and under the right hand, top of it. And then of course the ring and the necklace, the eye. Let's start with the eye and the forehead. Fresh bruises. Not much else I can see on her face, although she does have a rather stoic expression. Australia. Elegant dress. Old bruises, right. Wedding ring. And the sleeve is nothing. I thought that might be something. What's the last one? Pale cheeks. Alright. So, statistically it's going to be her, but it's an interesting case, which means it's probably more convoluted. We'll ask, focus on the main events now.
Can you describe to me the events of yesterday evening?
Is it really necessary? I have already told Inspector Lestrade all that happened.
Yes, madam, it is.
I will tell you then. Sir Eustace retired about 10:30. I sat in this room until after 11, absorbed in a book. Before I went upstairs, I entered the dining room to fetch a candle and... oh God.
Please, go on.
As I approached the French window, I found myself face to face with an elderly, broad-shouldered man who had just stepped into the room. Close behind the first man, I saw two others. One of them struck me a savage blow with his fist and felled me unconscious to the ground.
And then?
When I came to myself, I found that they had secured me tightly to a dining room chair. It was at that instant my unfortunate husband entered the room.
He fought with the intruders?
Yes, I think he had hurt them, for he was holding his stick. But they were three, and he eventually succumbed. One of them, the elder one, struck him a terrible blow with the poker. I fainted once more. When I opened my eyes, they had withdrawn. Then my brave Teresa came to my assistance.
Okay, a lot of information there. I think I sort of get the feeling that things are not as she says they are. No evidence, but I guess we have to consider the emotional side as well. But so about 10:30, the husband goes away. Around 11:30, she leaves to get a candle. I sort of missed a little something there because I was trying to sort of plot things in my head again, but I know the dialogues are in the notebook sort of, which is good. But I'm trying to avoid doing that, but then I can't stop thinking. So happened before midnight. That's what Sherlock said. So that means that the report of this incident, like when she came to her aid, had to happen before midnight. So there was around 30 minutes of time, sort of. Let's say that it happened at midnight. Everything that she just said happened in 30 minutes, which is possible. Why were they hanging around there? Why did they tie her up if she was unconscious? That means that they were planning on hanging around, I guess, for a while at least, or then just tie her up and so that she can't call for help that fast. But since there was someone else in the house as well, Teresa, I think her name was, there's not really much reason to tie her up. I mean, especially because there was three of them. It takes a lot of time to grab an unconscious person, put them on a chair, get some rope, tie her up. There's three of you, so one of you can do that, and then, or two of you can do that, let's say, and then one of you is doing something. So they're looking, I would imagine, because if they're not looking, they're waiting. And I don't see them waiting for anything right now, so they were looking. So they knew what they came for, or then they were just looking around in general. But then again, there was money in there were coins in the hallway so I would imagine they would have taken them. If they would have been looking around the floor, because I think she said downstairs, so yeah, it's sort of, at least we are actually deducing some things.
Did these three villains steal anything?
Yes, I found that they had taken the silver from the sideboard, but you can see for yourself in the dining room.
Silver from the sideboard. So we need to keep a lookout for other sort of, expensive things, or silver things, or gold chalices and everything, and or figure out why they were after that in particular.
You mentioned that your marriage was not a happy one. Was there anything specific that was troubling you?
He was not a nice man when he was drunk, and he suffered from dark moods, but nothing else.
Yeah, old bruises. Well, yeah, so I guess this is sort of insinuating that there was violence rather than just being unnice.
The bruises on your hands are at least 1 week old. Your husband caused those bruises?
Oh, do you? Yes, he did. He was very angry at the time. Out of control. Again. Sir Eustace was a drunkard. To be tied to such a man for life is worse than death.
Your ladyship?
Okay, so we'll talk to her in a moment. Nice dog. And I want to see the sort of the area where everything took place and so on. We'll get there, I'm sure, but bruises could have been given to her by her husband as well. So there's evidence to suggest that, and she admitted that he was a violent drunkard. So the bruise on the eye is not clear, at least, who done it. So there could be some sort of not a love triangle thing, but this is sort of maybe the reverse of what happened before, that she had an affair and she wanted to have the affair or something, and then the guy knows about the violence, of course, because she's bruised up, and then he confronted the old dude and killed him or something. So there's a lot of different ways of looking at this, and I do enjoy the brain work, so might as well start guessing things now, because they're going to be proven wrong or supported later. So I'll just write down, damn, I can't write. Rescue affair is going to be something that I'll sort of encompasses everything. Family business booming. The Randall gang is back on the street. Less than a fortnight ago, this infamous family of burglars, the Randalls as they are known, made their reappearance by way of a brutal but successful intrusion into one of the wealthier homes in Sydenham. The police are already on their trail. However, the details of the crime are being kept confidential, including that of the name of the victim. A witness was able to provide a precise description of all three men, and this will surely give the police a chance to complete their profile on this family of delinquents. We would take the liberty of reminding our esteemed readers about this highly dangerous band, and to provide the full description as it is available at this moment. The gang has been in business for some considerable time, being a family of three, a father and his two sons. The elder Jack Randall is a man in his 40s and already gray-haired, while of average height and build. Being the mastermind behind the burglaries, he retains control over his sons, both of whom are close in age but very different in appearance. The first son, William Randall, is tall and broad-shouldered, with a small, disproportionate head. That's sort of accurate. I mean, very accurate, an accurate description, but a very precise description of someone's head. The younger brother, Melvin Randall, is of a somewhat weaker constitution and is as skinny as a rake. The gang is wanted not only for their frequent thefts and break-ins, but for the exceptionally brutal pirate career they enjoyed before returning to England. Be alert, and may your valuables stay safe. So, this is a very strong hint that perhaps the Randalls weren't even here. It's also possible that they were here because they are on the loose. But now we can't trust her description, because she might have read it in a magazine. So we can use it to try to sort of deduce what has happened, but at the same time, I think, because there was some suspicion on what, she didn't really remember what happened, and that's actually a good point as well. Didn't remember at first. Which means that she sort of was either, confused, which is possible, but also that she didn't really recall what happened, and then, this morning she did. So that means that she might have lacked an actual sort of, an explanation. So she was desperate, looking for an explanation. And then she got lucky by reading the magazine, or, had her memory refreshed by the magazine or something. It's possible.
The description of the Randall gang provided by Lady Brackenstall is identical to the one in the Times article.
Yes. Beautiful.
A trapper's hut.
So I guess is this the same drug? I guess they're pretty close with each other, so they might have been in cahoots. So let's say, because they were close, like it's her handmaiden or whatever. Then they'll be in pictures and stuff together, but let's sort of try to push that angle as well, so that we maybe can find that two women, sort of living a sheltered life, they might make up stories that might not actually be that realistic to people who live in a more maybe challenging environment or have lived. So if she's close with her and she saved her, so if the gang was not here, then it was probably them. And it's possible that the murderer is the, let's call her handmaid. And she might have tried to protect her, I guess, friend, so the wife. So that is one possible motive and sort of chain of events.
This photograph of Lady Brackenstall and her maid Teresa was taken at a port, but which one?
14. I don't know what the markings are for ports in England, but let's flip it open. Rock of Gibraltar, so that is far away. We're not going there. Oh, Adelaide. What?
So the lady and her maid came from Australia a year and a half ago on this ship.
A year and a half ago from Australia. I'm also thinking that violence might be fabricated. The violence might be fabricated. They might be con artist too, and I think she spoke English in an English accent. Let's see if she says anything when I talk to her.
Oh, what a horrible thing to have happened.
Yeah, don't sound Aussie to me. They might have just gone for a visit. They might have, there's so many reasons, but I'm trying to put things together. Makeup table. And I know there's the T button there, but I sort of want to notice whatever I'm looking for myself. And also, we need to find, or we need to go to the place where it happened, so that we can sort of corroborate a few things about candles and pokers and shit.
Teresa, I would like to hear your testimony.
Certainly, sir.
So it looks a little wrinkly, tired. Not sure what that means really, but she doesn't look old, but she has wrinkles. A little blood on her hands, on her napkin, or what do you call that? The thing which you wear when cooking. Coffee stain. Thought it was blood. Vinegar. Let me, handkerchief carrying. Show me the one more thing. Was vinegar. So I guess vinegar has been used as like a salt or something. Working hands. Working hands? Working hands. She has working hands. Or she has working hands. Intonation is important.
As I sat by my bedroom window, I saw 3 men in the moonlight down by the lodge gate. But I thought nothing of it at the time. Oh, if I'd known.
And then?
I went to bed, and it was more than an hour after that I heard my mistress scream. And down I ran, to find her tied to the chair and him on the floor with his head smashed. That's all I know.
3 men loitering, and she was, this was an hour before. The timeline is sort of weird, but I think we'll get around to it. She is Aussie, sounds Australia, and so joined there. We'll have to go, dig deep or dig into her history a little, like where she came from. They've been married for less than a year, and so on. So we'll figure this out. Oh yeah, right. There was this thing, the thing. Maybe I should find that before I find anything else. Thrown away letters. That's normal. Books, glasses, a woman on a chair, painting. I mean, it's a different woman, I think, but looks fairly generic in a sense. Could be like a grandma. There's a clock here, and there's a lot of talk of time, so maybe we'll have to look at that a little bit. So maybe if there's a discrepancy with the timeline, and then maybe the clock is in a different, hasn't been wound properly or something like that, then we'll sort of know how much to change things. Picture. Oh shit, did I actually miss that? Oh, they're not even visible. Ah, that's annoying, because I'd really want them to be at least slightly visible so that so that I can find them myself, but alright.
These scratches are most definitely made by the picture frame. This is Sir Eustace's safe. There may be something important inside. I must ask Lady Brackenstall to open it.
Maybe she doesn't know how.
Lady Brackenstall, could you open this wall safe?
No, it is my husband's safe. I do not know the combination.
We have to open it. Your ladyship?
Sherlock is getting excited about the safe.
Let us try to open this safe.
Just have a
This
look.
safe can be cracked. I only have to pay attention. The dial will vibrate when it is set to the correct number.
Okay. I was thinking we were going to have to find some numbers. I'll just spin it around and then see if how noticeable the effect is. Oh, right. So I saw that one move. Yeah. So it's 15. Oh, I confirm it. And then it's really obvious, so this is not actually a puzzle, it's just like a waste of time. Oh. Oh, and I didn't actually the numbers. Oh man, it's one of those things. I should have checked the numbers on the safe, like what they were, just to maybe it'll give us a little hint somewhere else down the line.
Antique coins, possibly of value, but they're scattered without care. It is common practice to keep one's valuables in a safe behind a painting. It should not really pose a challenge for a criminal.
So Eustace, your current physical and mental state is of great concern. There are several signs of a hepatic decompensation. The last time we met, your eyes were bloodshot and your skin was tinged with yellow. There is a particular odor from your breath that is common in those suffering from liver damage. Then there are the lung abscesses that we have discussed. The leg cramps you have described to me are caused by an alteration. An alteration? I never heard of that word. To the nervous system. Is it like an alteration? It's just a mistake? I need to Google that if I remember it. To the nervous system, which in turn is caused by an excess of alcohol. That includes the tremors. Your liver seemed excessively hard at the time of your examination, which is a sign of an evolving cirrhosis. There are also signs of ascites, fluid in the peritoneal cavity, which are evident with your swollen stomach. The pain beneath your left rib indicates a pancreatic malady, which may lead to fatal and fulminant pancreatitis. Your condition may pose a risk to others. Your excessive alcohol consumption lowers your self-control and heightens your aggression. I am available to help you with this problem. There are a number of treatment options. So he was on his way out, I think. Anyway, we don't really know how old this is or why it was kept in a safe, but I guess it was kept in a safe so that she wouldn't get her hands on it or anyone else. He has it, but then no one will get their hands on it. Alright, so I leave this episode here. There's been a lot of timeline discussions, and I will check the dialogues later to sort of reaffirm that I am on the sort of correct, or that I have the correct idea of how things worked, but I will figure that out in the next one. I'll see you there.